Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stand. It's not the United Stand, it's That's Football. It's the FA Cup final. It's Manchester City against Chelsea. What a busy day. What a busy day. Celtic have won the league. People are talking about that in the live chat. We've got Bundesliga final live day action on this channel as well. If you're in the UK and Ireland, you can watch the last day live on this channel. We've got footage of Bundesliga's last day. Bayern Munich are winning 2-0 at the moment. We'll keep you up to date with that if you want to watch some live football or dual screen it or whatever you want to do. But we are here live for Chelsea against Man City, the biggest bit of domestic silverware available from a cup competition. There are only two, Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. But look, whatever you say about the FA Cup, I think the final is always interesting. Team news is going to be on your screen in a moment. Lineups as follows. If we could just get Chelsea. Let's have a look here. Sorry, I don't know why it's not moving around. Just waiting for it to move around. I don't think it's actually moving around. There we go. Chelsea on the screen. There it is. So, Chelsea lining up with Sanchez, Gusto, Fofana, Colwill, Hato, James, Caicedo, Cucurella, Fernandes, Palmer and João Pedro. Probably their strongest team because it's effectively a back five with Caicedo, James, Fernandes and then Palmer, Pedro. I think if they're going for Alonso, it could work quite well for them next season. Garnacho on the bench, Delap on the bench, Neto on the bench as attacking options. Manchester City, Trafford, Nunes, Kushanoff, Gehi, O'Reilly, Rodri, Bernardo Silva, Mamouche, Semenyo, Doku, Haaland. A little bit of rotation there. Trafford in goal, obviously, as the cup goalkeeper. I'm not sure Kushanoff normally would start. Cherki's on the bench, Donnarumma's on the bench, Foden's on the bench. I mean, it's a hell of a bench for Manchester City. Aki, Stones, Diaz, Reinders, Sevilla, Kovacic, Foden, Donnarumma, Cherki. So look, I think Manchester City are favourites, but I wouldn't be surprised. What did it go for? Both me and Robbie went with the City win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea got something out of this. Certainly I wouldn't. What do you think about the Hearts game? I think when somebody hasn't won your title for 42 years, other than Celtic and Rangers, you've got a bit of a problem with your league when Celtic have a shit year and still win it. So I didn't watch it, to be honest with you. I was out in the garden because, ultimately, I knew Celtic would win it. I think it's fair play to Celtic, but I don't watch Scottish football. And I'm sure a lot of you don't watch Scottish football because their league format is crap. I don't know whether it's it will never happen, but Celtic and Rangers probably should be in the Premier League because Cardiff and Swansea are, and they are big clubs, but that league's a joke. It's an absolute joke, and credit to Hearts, but, Celtic on a bad year still win the league, so I don't know what people expect. I expected Celtic to win it. They're at home for the last game of the season, and they've got to win to win the league. I mean, I think it was inevitable. Fair play to Hearts for making it interesting, but ultimately, people saying you missed a great game. I didn't really, did I? I didn't miss anything. I predicted that Celtic would win the league, and they won the league. So there we go. But you've got a problem. Imagine if the Premier League, it was Liverpool and Man United winning it for the last 42 years. We'd have a bit of a problem, wouldn't we? And that's the problem the Scottish League has got. Celtic and Rangers are just too big for that league. But they're Scottish clubs. So, it is what it is. But well done to Celtic. That's the league format. And I don't think there was any controversy. I think it was a penalty. I think it was a handball the other night as well. I mean, his hand was up. I know he headed it, but his hand was up. So I don't have any issue with Celtic winning that league. They are in a shit year. They're still the best. So it is what it is. It definitely wasn't offside as well. Okay, let's get into the chat anyway, because we're here to talk about the FA Cup final. Hope you're doing really well. Please do share the video. Lots to come on That's Football this week, actually. So tomorrow we're going to be doing Newcastle against West Ham at 5:30, relegation battle. Tuesday we're going to be doing Chelsea Spurs and Bournemouth Man City, title and relegation battle. Wednesday, we've got Aston Villa, just seen Prince William, he's a Villa fan, against Freiburg in the Europa League final. And then obviously next Sunday, we've got the last day of the Premier League. I'm at Baller League on Monday. and then it's the Champions League, and then it's the World Cup. And we have got a very, very packed schedule for the World Cup as well, and transfer stuff as well across the summer. So make sure you're subscribing, whoever you support. Thank you very much for getting involved. I feel like I haven't been live with you on this channel for probably since the Arsenal game, actually. I am doing the United game tomorrow, but it's at 12:30. Why did the Celtic game early? Because they scored the third goal on a counter. So Hearts' goalkeeper went up. So they broke away. With about 50 seconds left, they broke away and scored 3-1. And then there was a pitch invasion. I mean, what's the point? If I was a Hearts player, I'd say just blow the whistle. You know, we're not coming back. So Carl says Salford would beat Celtic. I don't know. I mean, Rangers spent 40 million. I mean, the only funny thing about Celtic is they've got Iheanacho was playing up front today, and I was like, what? But look, what are your thoughts on this? Let's get a bit of a poll going on here. Who wins the cup? Get your questions in as well. I'm in a good mood today, so let's have a bit of fun. It's the FA Cup final. It's Chelsea against Man City. Who do you want to win? Chelsea. Never City. Arsenal for the league, Chelsea for the cup, PSG for the Champions League. I'm very flexible on my... Oh, look at the old granny there. Didn't you feel so... Oh. I always think that about old people. You look at old people and sometimes you go, ah, really, you shouldn't. It's deceptive. It's like that. You know, have you ever seen in the sea? Sometimes these, they look like rocks and a fish will swim in and it's actually not a rock. It's a predator with its mouth wide open, and the fish just swims in thinking it's a rock and it just closes its mouth. And it's a little bit like that old woman there. Don't you think with old people, like sometimes you see old people and you go, ah, you don't know what they were like when they were 30. She could have been a bank robber or a nonce. Probably not her, but you know, like, this is what I mean. Old people, you do sort of get, well, maybe it's just me. You do sometimes think, about old people, and then you don't know. They might not like cats. She might be speeding on the motorway on the way back to Manchester tonight. You know, she could kill a frog. So, you know, you just don't know what you're saying R to sometimes, do you? The only person I say R to is a dentist. I'm too cynical to say R. Even a puppy could grow up and look. You'd probably stroke a little tiger, wouldn't you? Go back and stroke it 5 years later, you won't have a head or a hand or an arse. So just be careful what you're saying R to. My philosophy in life, the only thing I say R to is a dentist. That's it. Right. She could be a train fare dodger. She could. Stroke a what? I nearly said stroke a pussycat, but then I thought cats, if we're being honest, there aren't many cats that grow up to beat you up. I've never met a cat that I thought, I'm intimidated by you. They give it the big un. I prefer dogs to cats. You can, you know, sometimes, you know, I've walked Seb to school and I'm walking back and there is this cat on the route and it does give it the evils. And I'll give it the evils back. I feel like going, what? What are you going to do? You're carrying a bit of weight. You're a big cat. What are you going to do? And then people look at me like, because I'm actually talking to a cat. But I nearly said, you know, you could be stroking a little pussy cat. That's why I said tiger, because you could stroke a little tiger. That will grow up and have your arm, your arse, and your head. But if you're stroking a cat, you don't need to worry about growing up. I mean, you don't get many headlines of Ethel killed by cat in her sleep, do you? I mean, probably can find them, but I mean, you do get horrible stories about dogs, and I'm not, you know, it's horrible. But you rarely get headlines about cats. Okay, let's get ready to go here. I don't know, Mark, there are some big cats out there, not domesticated cats. I do think if a cat was bigger than you, they would eat you. I don't think a dog would. I think dogs genuinely do like you. I think if a cat was bigger than you, they'd eat you. And before they ate you, they'd probably play around with you first. I think cats are quite sadistic. Dogs wouldn't. But thankfully, domesticated cats don't get that big. So they just walk around miserable. I think they're miserable most of the time because they're not big enough to do anything about it. I think cats, if they were big enough, would take over the world. That's why I don't like that film, Cats. Dogs wouldn't take over the world. Dogs would be still lovers. Anyway, back to the FA Cup final. Mark, I see City winning this. Hope it's not a boring game. Hope you're well too, says Becky. I hope you're very well, Becky, as well. I'm not too bad. I was out last night. It was my daughter's awards evening at Birmingham City. So I always, well, didn't intend to, but always seem to end up in a local bar near their ground and a few drinks. I got in at like midnight last night, and on the way back in the Uber, ordered myself a burger and chips. The missus went, "You'll never eat it." I went, "I will." And I did. Cats eat you when you die, says Tan. Yeah, you're not going to feel that, though. Mark, would you lose your mind if the Premier League copied the Championship and relegation round format of the Scottish League? Oh, I can't stand the... it's the first year... Anyway, we're up and running here. I cannot stand the Scottish Premier League format where they split the league about 8 games out and then you have to play everybody in the top 8. I'd be like, fuck that. Because it doesn't help you if you're a little team. You know, imagine if our league, if we had like Brentford top of the league with 8 games to go and then it's split and you have to play everyone in the top 8. If I'm Brentford, I'm going, no, I don't want to play everyone in the top 8. We're top of the league. I want to play, you know, everyone twice, thank you. Is there a bit of a kick clash here, says Kevin? Only if you think about it. I mean, realistically, one of them, yeah, it is a bit of a head mess, I've got to say. I think Chelsea, they could get Europa League if they win. Yes, Jacob, that's a great, great point. I don't know whether anybody is intelligent enough in this chat to tell us, but Chelsea are currently on 49 points in 9th place. Does 9th place get you Europe? I don't know. Because with Villa in 4th, the Champions League doesn't go to 6th, which means Europa League is 6th, and 7th is probably Conference. So I don't think 9th or 8th gets you into Europe at the moment, but there'll be somebody in the chat, and Data Dean's out on the piss, so I don't know. But you do get Europa League if you win the FA Cup, and Chelsea will want that minimum. Well, they're not getting Champions League. The great thing about the Europa League is if you're in it, you'll win it, won't you? I mean, I think the Premier League is going to win the Europa League every year. Rest in peace to my mum, Mercy, who passed 2 days ago, says Dej. Rest in peace to your mother. Thank you very much for letting us know. And thoughts with you and your family, friend, pal. Where would Celtic or Rangers have to join EFL 1? It will never happen, Tan. It will never happen. I just think a league that's got nobody else winning it apart from Celtic and Rangers for 44 years has got a problem. But the people in Scotland seem to love it. You know, Celtics and Rangers, it's packed out every game, isn't it? I'd get bored, I would. You think Adeyemi would be a good signing for Man United, says Chris? I've not heard anything linking us to Adeyemi, but I would prefer Nusa, but I do like Adeyemi. I think he's got that potential to do really, really well. Yeah. I don't think it drops down to 9th anyway. I think 1 Europa League spot is replaced with a Champions League spot. So 6th, 1 Europa League, 1 Conference League. So 8 in total, says Mist. Of course, Chelsea have got Spurs on Tuesday night. So if they win, that could push them up the league. Ross McRae Magician says, VAR won Celtic the league on Wednesday. Never a handball. Would have lost the title on goal difference today if that wasn't given due to Hart scoring, says Ross McRae Magician. See, I do, you know, Ross, I wanted Hearts to win it just to have a team that's never won it for 42 years. But I do think it was a handball. I think it's a little bit like the Arsenal one last week. If it's for you, it's definitely a foul on the goalkeeper and it's definitely a handball. If it's against your team, it's not a foul on the goalkeeper and it's not a handball. So I do get that, but I don't support Celtic, I don't support Rangers, and and I don't support Hearts. But I did think it was a handball because his hand's in a weird position right next to his head. So I can't find a justification for why his hand was there. So it's controversial, but I do think it was a handball. Yeah, I just can't get. I know he heads a lot. Somebody said, but he heads it. He doesn't handle it. But I'm like, what's his hand doing there? You know. Cucurella down the left-hand side. Got no support at all. I don't think he'll get a free kick for that either. No. Strong by Nunez. Who do you think will win? I think Chelsea got a chance if they can click into their pre-Christmas form where they were actually quite good. I mean, they were shite against Forest last Monday, but pre-Christmas they were quite good, and I think Reece James makes a big difference. I don't think City are as good as people think either. I think they've done very well to push Arsenal, but I don't think they're actually as good as people think this season. Thank you very much for all your comments. Please do share the video, by the way. We're moving towards 10,000 watching, so please share. No Premier League games today, all tomorrow. FA Cup has had a day to itself. Probably fair for the final. But I do think it's lost its magic. Complex says the Maltese Premier League playoff final is on right now. It's very entertaining. You should give it a watch. Mate, it might be entertaining, but there is more chance of me watching my dog take a shit in the back garden, and I'm not doing that. Nothing against the Maltese Premier League, but I'd rather pop down the shops and buy a packet of Maltesers. It's not happening. And I think sometimes in life it's best to be truthful. It's just not happening, mate. It's never going to happen. I think Chelsea's going to win. Just look at Peter Cech's back between the posts, says Harvard. Why has he got that on his head? Has he had a bang of the head? We have got live Bundesliga action on as well at the same time as this. We're double streaming here today with Bayern against Cologne. I'm just popping over to that stream now. And I can tell you we're approaching half-time. And it is 3-1. 4 goals in the first half there. What a pleasure it has been having the Bundesliga this season. And we were offered the chance to do the final day. I said we've got the FA Cup final, but we will put it up. Because I do feel like it's been a brilliant link-up with the Bundesliga. And again, you know, 4 goals in 40 minutes. You do get a lot of goals and entertainment and flowing football in the Bundesliga, and hopefully we'll be with them again next year because I've really enjoyed it. So well done to all of you. Just in relation to the Bundesliga, it is their final day. Final day in the Bundesliga, and what's up for grabs, Mark? Well, Bayern have already won the league. That's fine, but of more interest is the relegation battle because Heidenheim and St. Pauli and Wolfsburg are all on 26 points for Heidenheim, but they're losing. Wolfsburg and St. Pauli are both on 27, but they're both drawing. So interesting there what could happen. St. Pauli are losing now as well. So they are actually bottom, St. Pauli now, and Wolfsburg are winning. So Wolfsburg are, I think, going to the playoff, and St. Pauli and Heidenheim go down. The race for Champions League football is Dortmund will get it with 71 points. Leipzig are actually losing at the moment to Freiburg, but should be okay because Stuttgart are winning and they're in 4th. And Hoffenheim need to win. They're losing 2-0 Hoffenheim to Mönchengladbach. So it's looking like Stuttgart in the Champions League with Leipzig, Dortmund and Bayern, which does have an impact on football in general because a lot of people will be looking at players like Stiller and Nusa and Diamonde, and all of them are going to be in the Champions League with their clubs. So that increases the price. St. Pauli are pathetic. Yeah, it's a shame about St. Pauli. Oh, Rodri on the back post. Looked like he was offside. I thought it was going to be 1-0 to Man City here. The cross comes into the back post from Doku. He would have been onside for me. Free header, can't score from there. They were looking for a handball on Pedri. I was Haaland with a high foot, not an offside. Darren Bloody England. We need another Kalina, says Rudolph the Red. Thanks for your super chats, by the way. You can do that through the $sign. Yoriki says, have you shared your hearts? Have you shared your hearts? Have you shared your thoughts about Hearts, Mark? I always thought Celtic were going to win the league. Because Celtic are head and shoulders above every other team in that league. And even on a shit year, they've still managed to win it. I think what Hearts have done is incredible. But ultimately, Celtic have still won it. So, well done to Hearts, but Celtic are the champs. What's your basis for making the prediction that City will win the Premier League next season? Was this a serious prediction? Love your humorous banter, says Ryle. I think City will win the league next year because Donnarumma, Cherki, Guéhi, Semenyo will be bedded in. You've got the best striker in the Premier League in Erling Haaland, who will still be there. And I suspect they are going to spend big for the new manager, or Pep if he stays. So Bernardo Silva will be replaced. Rodri will probably be replaced if he goes. So I just think City next season will be stronger. So I'm saying that they'll win the league. Kevin says, have you heard that Pep is 90% staying for next season? I don't know. I nearly did a video on this. 63% say Man City are going to win. So let's end that poll. I want to do another poll. I'm getting greedy with polls. Right. Why is that poll still open? End that poll. So, do you think Pep's going to stay? Yes or no? Because I saw that video of Pep in the centre circle with all those trophies. And I would have thought that that was him leaving. But if Pep stays, I think they'll definitely win the league next year. Yes, Union Berlin have a female manager, says Udex. And they're winning 2-0 against Augsburg. St. Pauli are actually playing Wolfsburg. Bloody hell, I didn't know that. Wow, that'll be an interesting second half. Here's João Pedro. And offside. Why are Chelsea allowed an interim with no fear of them taking over, and when we get there, they're instantly on audition and we end up stuck with the bugger, says Nick Peake? Yeah, because we're run by idiots. Basically. Thanks for your super chats. Yeah, we're run by idiots. Michael Carrick won't get control of transfers, Red Milk. That's why he's a head coach. Here's Semenyo, bit of space. Lovely cross, and he can't believe that nobody has anticipated that move. He sort of looks at his compatriots and says, why have you not anticipated this cross? To be fair, Haaland was sort of being blocked off by Gusto anyway. Saturday night, that's like the way you move. Yeah, a bit of a slow start to this cup final, I'm not going to lie. Pep spitting is probably the highlight of the game, if we're being completely honest. Do you think Chelsea will bounce back? Well, this is the. I mean, I've got my reacting to my Premier League prediction show coming up in 10 days, which is always an interesting one. And obviously it's a little bit early to be breaking down my opinions for next season. I do think City will win the league next year, but obviously I am entitled to look at the summer transfer window before I actually do my predictions. I think with Chelsea, I don't think Chelsea are far off. I sort of, look, Man City, very well-run club, very good players, very good manager. They're going to be there or thereabouts next year. Chelsea, if they get the managerial appointment right, my confidence about Chelsea changes instantly. With all due respect to Liam Rosignol, I don't think he sort of had the experience or CV for me to be looking at them going, I'm worried about them. But I do think with somebody like Xabi Alonso in a 3-4-3 with a couple of experienced players added in, I think Chelsea have got a good team. What they've got to do is shed the shit. You know, you've got to get rid of people like Delap, Garnacho. You can't rely on those players. They're Premier League players, but they're not top 4 players. So Chelsea need to bring a bit of experience in. I don't know what their funds are. I mean, if I was Chelsea, what would I be looking at in the market? They need an experienced forward to work with Pedro. I think they need an experienced centre-back. See, I think someone like Murillo from Forest would be brilliant for them. Premier League experience, capable of making a step up. I think he'd be a good player for them. I think a goalkeeper that you can trust would be good for Chelsea as well. But look, I think Chelsea could bounce back next season. Their biggest problem has always been their ownership. Whether, you know, but I do think they can bounce back, yeah. More than Liverpool. I mean, I did that video on Liverpool today. I just don't get what's going on at Liverpool. I really don't. Get your questions in. Nervous start. City have been in our box more than Lily Phillips on a Sunday afternoon, says Jacko. Lovely thoughts. Have you seen Lewandowski's leaving Barcelona, says Murias? And yes, no, I would not take him at Man United. They will make a big exit celebration when Pep leaves, not just leave by the back door, says Stuart Allison. Bundesliga last game's better than the crappy EPL team, says Isaac. And video was Silva's leaving message, not Pep. Could be a good point, Hugh. Could be a good point there. Silva has been very good. I mean, look. If I was Pep Guardiola, I'd stay for another year. 60% say he's staying. That's why I didn't do the video on Pep, because I was like, is it a little bit too obvious that, you know, that's his leaving video? But Sir Alex Ferguson left through the front door with a Premier League title. I think Pep should try and do that. And I think next season, Arsenal will be there, but it won't be, you know, I think Arsenal will get a little bit more pressure next year if they play the same way. And I think when you play the style of football that Arsenal play, that is a hell of a lot of... I mean, look, I've been doing it in Baller League because, you know, we didn't get a transfer window. We've got to work with what we've got. We're an underdog. So we do go into games and try to be well organised. It's energy sapping because you've got to be concentrating all the time. And I think Arsenal, especially if they win the Champions League as well, it'd be very hard for them next season to go into next season and play the same way again. So we don't know what we're going to get from Arsenal next year is what I'm going to say. Afternoon, Marcus. Don't Chelsea have a transfer ban? Says Delusional Unicorn. No, they don't. I think they have a youth transfer ban or something, but they don't have a transfer ban. But I've not heard about who Chelsea are linked to. I mean, obviously we know with Man City, Elliot Anderson. I think they've been linked to Tonali as well. See, this is the problem with British refereeing. That's not a foul on Doku. Let the game go. Just let the game flow. Stop, start, idiots. Get on my fucking nerves. Referees in the Premier League. A lot. Imagine you're doing something you really enjoy, and you know, Oh, I think I've left the kettle on. Oh, you know, I know what you lot are imagining. You're thinking about that 3-letter word beginning with S. I'm talking, you know, imagine you're watching a good film. You know, you're watching Heat or The Godfather, yeah? And every 5 minutes, your missus or your boyfriend or your mate is going, "Oh, I think I've left the lights on in my car. Let's pause it. Oh, shall we have a cup of tea? Oh, I think I need the toilet. Oh, shall I get us some popcorn? Pause it. Oh, I think the dog needs a wee. Oh, fuck off. Get out. You just let the film flow. Let the film flow. I'm not stopping the film every fucking 5 minutes. Go and get me a Bundesliga referee to watch this film with, because he lets it flow. And that's the problem we have in the Premier League. The referees just stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. Let the game flow as much as you can, and we will be more entertained. Rudolph says, OGFC, Mark, you seen any of it? All the boys back together. OGFC? You seen any of it? All the boys back together. What's that? Rudolph the Red. Are the Gold Devils ownership the problem too, says Hamza. Mate, we've got about 100 Gold Devils Ultras coming down on Monday. Get your tickets. We're making some noise on Monday. If you're down in London, get your tickets. Baller League. No. If I speak on what happened last Monday, I'll probably be suspended, and I'm turning up on Monday. So, Doku into the box. Good defending. Afternoon, Marcus. Done that one from Delusional Unicorn. Thank you, sir. Here's João Pedro into the box. Needs a bit of support. Lazy. Oh, he should have passed. Oh, he's fell on his arse like a prat. He went to shoot. He slipped over and he's fell on his arse. He should have passed to Enzo there. Are you excited about the World Cup? Yes. Yes. I was talking to Robbie about it yesterday because I think he's going out there for the month. And he was asking me if I'm going. And I'm like, never say never, because I do like the States and I would like to go to Canada and Mexico. But it's very expensive. It's going to be very busy. And I don't know what going out there, what purpose that serves. And ultimately, the football is the show, isn't it? So watch-alongs, sat with you, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I just want to watch the football. So I don't think... I am excited about it, yeah. But I don't think I'm going to bother going out there. I don't really... You know, as much as I like Robbie and Thogden, I don't really want to go to America and just keep bumping into them. Because that's what it'll be, won't it? Flow is what makes football the best game. Literally every other sport stops every 2 seconds. Rugby, cricket, tennis is the only one close. Mate, the PGMOL are bloody useless, aren't they? OGFC is the team full of Man United legends, is Ryle. Yeah, I wouldn't watch that. Haaland with the cross, and too much on it. Are you doing the 3 PM games tomorrow? This is Alex. Alex. It's Sunday tomorrow. Brentford Palace, no. Everton Sunderland, no. Leeds Brighton, no. Wolves Fulham, no. They're all shit, mate. I'm doing Newcastle against West Ham at 5:30, and United are at 12:30. But yeah, no. I'm not doing the 3 o'clocks. It's all the old United players. They've made a team, and Cantona is the manager. But who are they going to play? Who are they going to play? I've been to watch Legends games before, and they're shit. OGFC is a Premier League Legends team managed by Eric Cantona, featuring Rio Ferdinand and Ryan Giggs, curated for special charity matches. They played a high-profile match against Suwon Samsung on April the 19th. They lost 1-0. Van der Sar, Evra, Ferdinand, Vidic, Anderson and Berbatov. Yeah, not for me. Caicedo's got a bit of an injury problem here. We are in that horrible area now, aren't we, as well? He looks like he's in trouble here. We are in that horrible area now where if you get injured, you miss the World Cup. World Cup has started in 4 weeks' time. So if you did your hammy now, hamstring for those who aren't football people, if you do your hammy, you're out of the World Cup. Mitoma is out of the World Cup for Japan. Some people are naming their squads, and Mitoma is out for Japan, which I think is such a shame because he's a... I mean, they've still got Kubo. He's a good player, but, you know, for Japan, that's a bit of a loss. EFL Championship winner to get Conference League spots is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, bollocks. What a load of crap. Thoughts on Villa this season, says RJ's. I can't believe Emery is not up for manager of the season, but Carrick is. I mean, he's literally put them into 4th and the Europa League final, which I know it's not Premier League, but it's still, you've got to navigate it. And he didn't have his first choice midfield for 3 months. Oh, Enzo nearly slipped in Pedro there. That was that's a foul, Enzo Fernandez. Will you be doing the Conference League final? No. I will do the Europa League final. But I draw the line. Offside, surely. Cut back. Haaland. Offside. Yeah, referee got it right. He was on the spot. Johnny on the spot. His name's not Johnny, I don't think. But look at the line of the linesman there. Oh, yeah. Easy. He's got it right. He's played on. And then he's put the flag up, which is exactly what he should do. Hi, Mark. Here for the usual shout-out. Vinny! Vinny! Hey, Vinny! 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 Hey, Vinny! 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 Vinny's in the chat. Vinny! Is the league Arsenal's now, or do you reckon there's one more twist in the tail? No, Arsenal have won the league now, yeah. I think that West Ham moment was when they won the league. Thankfully, though, for West Ham, they've still got a chance. I think it's still in West Ham's hands. I think Spurs, I haven't been live, have I, since? So Spurs drawing at home to Leeds on Monday night was a real shock. Real shock. And effectively, I think if West Ham win against Newcastle and Leeds, they'll stay up, because I don't think Spurs will win at Chelsea. So there's still a chance for West Ham. And I'm glad, because I think it would have been a horrible way for them to go down on a, VAR goal. So I do like that FA Cup football, by the way. Proper old school mitre. Yeah. But yeah, we're doing West Ham tomorrow against Newcastle. I think if they lose that, they're down. You see Stephen Ireland snapping his leg for Vets team, says Flora. Patrick says Pep could be jumping ship before the 115 kicks in. And is there a way back with the Gold Devils ownership, says Hamza. What are you talking about the ownership for? Gold Devils is me. I'm the bloody ownership. We've had a really good season, considering. We're not in the bottom 4. We never had a transfer window. We've beaten SDS and Prime. We've pushed NDL all the way and got done by a couple of dodgy decisions. Did anybody, this is just a very baller league thing for a moment. Suffice to say, we had a man sent off and I stormed off because of an extra man being on the pitch. The week before, the game started with SDS having an extra man on the pitch. Enzo's naughty there, on Bernardo Silva. He knows what he's done there. Yellow card. Definitely got his studs up. No, nothing's going to happen with it, but he knew what he was doing. Yeah, anyway, so the week before we played SDS, they started with an extra man on the pitch and played him for 10 seconds. Nothing happened. We had an extra player on the pitch for about 3 seconds. We get a man sent off in a game we needed to win. Then, in fair play, where the rule is any foul leads to somebody being sent off, we get a player fouled, play on, they score a goal. The rule is any foul. That's the whole point of fair play. Any foul, you give it and you take their player off. You know what they said to me? Well, in fair play, we have a higher threshold for fouls. I went, what? It's a bloody game changer, fair play. It's meant to be any foul, soft or not, because it changes the game. You're meant to be stopping fouls. You don't increase the threshold of fouls in fair play. It's meant to be don't tackle because you'll get sent off. So, yeah. But I'm not bothered. Did Kanchelskis play for Chelsea? No, eat, sleep. He went from Manchester United to Everton. He didn't play for Chelsea. What do you think about the game? It's a bit crap. I'd bin the FA Cup off. And I wouldn't look back. I'd put the FA Cup in the bin. I'd roll it to the end of my drive. And I'd just go and play keepy-ups in the garden or have a shower or make a cup of tea. I think some of you would like... I think some of you would be like, oh no, have I done the right thing? I've put it in the bin. I'd put it in the bin. I think it's played at the wrong time of the year as well. I think by the time we play the FA Cup, no one gives a shit. There's Noel and Liam, look. Is he with Emmanuel Petit there, Liam Gallagher? Lovely feet by Cole Palmer. And Man City clear it. Who do you think will be the next Chelsea manager? Hopefully not Alonso. We want him for Liverpool. Slot out, says Becky. I think it's going to be Alonso. I can't believe Liverpool are keeping Slot. 57% say that Pep will stay and 43% say no. Cucurella's just been booked now. We've had quite a few yellow cards. None for Man City, funnily enough. But I believe Chelsea have at least 2. Yeah, Enzo Fernandez and Cucurella. He's losing his shit, that lad. Ref, yellow card, yellow card. I'd say, if I was one of the stewards, I'd say, you're out. And his mum and dad would be like, what? No, you're out as well. He's got to be accompanied by an adult. What are you kicking him out for? Because he was doing the yellow card thing. He's a fan. No, we don't want any of that. Get out. Teach them young. They're not going to sack Slot. No, Semenyo, wild. That's going out for a throw-in. That was a shit shot. You mentioned that Pep hasn't won the Premier League since refreshing his team. Why would a manager want to refresh? Is it older players, different strategies, says Cameron. I think that with City, Pep's always looked to, replace players at the optimum moment. If you think about people like Kyle Walker and David Silva and Kevin De Bruyne. There are others, Jesus. But this is probably the biggest rebuild I've seen Pep ever do for Manchester City. I mean, it's quite a lot of changes. And I feel like this team's not going to really settle till next season. But I think, going back to Becky's question about the next Chelsea manager, I do think it will be Xabi Alonso. What do you think about Spygate, Mark? Do you think Southampton should be kicked out? I don't really know much about it, Darren. I'll be honest. It's one of them stories that I've seen and not read. I presume they had somebody spying on the training of another club. And I'd have to know what the rules are. Because in the interest, I mean, you could kick them out and say it's effectively cheating. But that would seem very harsh on the Southampton fans. But then again, when do they ever give a shit about the fans? Wan says, I don't care what anyone says. I'm glad that Man United missed out on Semenyo. Have you ever had anything that you missed out on that you're glad in hindsight? I remember I had a girlfriend when I was about 16, and I really, really did like her. And let's just say, on an away fixture, I got a little bit too... well, look, at the end of the day, we broke up. But I did like her. And... but then I've seen pictures of now, and I'm like, phew, glad, so glad. It's not just about the looks. She doesn't like dogs either, which just never would work. She literally posts on social media, I hate fucking dogs. And I don't mean like that way. I mean like she just doesn't like dogs. I think I get the idea that if she was driving past and she saw a stray dog on the side of the road, she wouldn't stop, even if it ran in the road, which I just hate. But I think in relation to players that I've missed out on, I just want to say, to be fair, that's not very nice. I don't think she would like leave a dog on the side of the road. But anyway, I sort of dodged a bullet, let's be honest. When have you dodged a bullet in your life? I know a few people who've dodged bullets, like proper, not real bullets, but like, you know, I'm not saying it's this because I'm not going to repeat it because it's not fair, but like they've literally been like, you know, if you imagine if you don't, you know, you book to go on a flight but you miss it and then it crashes, that sort of thing. That's not what they've missed, but you know, think like that. But footballers, trying to think who. I mean, Man United don't dodge bullets when it comes to players. I wish we hadn't bought Alexis Sanchez or Jadon Sancho, both of which Man City were looking at. So Man City have definitely dodged a few. No, Ronaldinho's the other way. Ronaldinho nearly signed for United. I wish a bloody had. That wasn't dodging a bullet. That's the opposite. That's like, you know, a girl at, you know, at your college, you know, asks you to go out for a drink and you say no. And then 5 years later, it's bloody Margot Robbie, you know? That's what Ronaldinho would be. God, this game's crap. It is. It is really crap. For a cup final, this is absolute shit. Needs a goal. Cucurella. Oh. This is stylistic, though. You know, when we watched Bayern Munich against PSG, I know the second leg was a little bit more pragmatic, but that's because, you know, obviously PSG had a bit of a lead, but this is crap style of football. I did not want Liam Delap at Man United, Asmir. I will always jump in when people spread lies. I did not want Liam Delap at Man United. That's absolutely crap. Alonso might as well wait for the Liverpool job, says Mo. Yeah, but how long? And also, that opportunity may never come. It's like Pochettino in the Man United job, isn't it? 3 or 4 times he was very close to it, just never quite got it. Here's Cole Palmer on the right-hand side. It's a decent cross, and it will be a corner. Polar bears are good at dodging bullets, Marks, as Rudolph the Red. Pete says, is spilling a drink on the carpet the worst thing ever? Just did it, and I'm seriously rethinking my life choices. Depends about the colour of the carpet and the colour of the drink. If it's red wine on a cream carpet, you're in trouble, mate. People say put salt on it. I don't know about that. Cole Palmer needs to play quite well, Sin, because obviously this World Cup selection, Thomas Tuchel is in the ground. Phil Foden's not playing. Cucurella doesn't get hold of it. See what I mean, Gahey there, the way he just falls over on the floor. I'm not the ref, and I know that Gahey's played for the foul there. So as a referee, I know he's played for the foul. Imagine the day where you stop giving those fouls. They'll stop falling over. Any change in the Bundesliga? They've only just started in the second half. Hoffenheim are losing to Mönchengladbach because they've had a man sent off. St. Pauli is still losing to Wolfsburg, which is obviously the relegation game. Heidenheim are losing to Mainz. Leipzig are 3-1 down to Freiburg. And Frankfurt still losing 2-0 to Stuttgart. Bayern are 3-1 up against Cologne. If you want to watch Bayern, second half is on this channel at the moment. Harry Kane has got 2 goals and he's nearly on a hat-trick. Next goal will be a hat-trick for Kane. So that is live on this channel if you go to the homepage. You can see a Kane get his hat-trick. I'm sure he will do it. There we go. Defensive diving is the worst thing in football, says Quinton. And it's the easiest thing to solve as well. We all know defenders and fullbacks do it all the time. They feel something, they go down a quick free kick, and the referee just feels obligated to give it. If I was Howard Webb, I'd say it as a directive. We're not giving these soft fouls on defenders anymore where you fall over on purpose to win a free kick. We're not doing it anymore. We want the game to flow. And if I was the PGMOL, I'd look at ways I can get the game flowing like the Bundesliga, and that would be a way to do it straight away. When do we give soft free kicks all the time that we don't need to give? When defenders fall over with someone under pressure. Right, let's stop giving them. The game will flow. Yes. Did you see the offside goal that Celtic got to win the league? Absolute robbery. Hart should sue the league. He was onside though, wasn't he? Nice ball into Haaland. Good save by Sanchez. Probably the highlight of the half in the 43rd minute. Anana or Anana, says Ninja. I think Peter Kenyon said he wanted to get both Ronaldinho and Ronaldo that summer. It's a stringer. And Ryle says, what do you think about the Florentino Perez press conference? Is this something you would like to see Sir Jim and the Glazers do? Yes. You see it in Germany as well. The sporting director and the CEO probably give as many interviews as, well, not as many, but they do give a lot of interviews. And I think it's a good idea. It makes you feel more attached to your football club. Grealish says, is there still a rivalry between United and Chelsea? Who do you support in this match? I'd rather Chelsea win it because the rivalry with Man City is real. I don't think United really have a rivalry with Chelsea. I mean, they're a top 6 club, so there's no love lost, but I wouldn't say it's a rivalry. It's weird. When you're doing a watch-along on the United stand, you're often behind the broadcast, but it never happens on That's Football, says Unsi. Well, I don't know why, because it's normally I'm watching it through the same way. Denise says, is the missus into football? Not. I wouldn't say she's not into it. I mean, Seb's got a tournament at the moment, so she's at it. At the tournament, not at it. I mean, she bloody better not be. My daughter plays football, so she tends to take her to that. She watches a lot of football, but not. I wouldn't say not on the level we are. But yeah, I don't think I could be with somebody who doesn't like football. That would never work. St. Pauli have got a goal back, which is a big goal because it makes it 1-1 with St. Pauli and Wolfsburg, which they are playing in... one of them will go down and one of them will play a playoff. So Heidenheim are going down as things stand. St. Pauli are second bottom, Wolfsburg are third from bottom. 3 go down, but third from bottom plays a playoff against third in League 2. So St. Pauli, Wolfsburg, if St. Pauli can win and push Wolfsburg back, then that would change it. Although I think VAR may have ruled it out because it's now saying it's still 1-0 to... no, it is 1-1. They've just not updated it. What stage of United stand did you leave policing? Says Bernardo. I was never in the police when I was doing the United stand. Oh no, there might have been a few about the first 8 months, I think. What changes would you make to the FA Cup to be more interesting and bring the magic back? I'd stop it being in January till May. I think the biggest problem... I think the Carabao Cup sometimes is more interesting because it's... is that a foul there? It's more of a shoulder barge, I think. I don't know whether VAR is looking at this. Let me just have a look. No, play on. You're never going to get one for that. I mean, if it's outside the box, it's a free kick. But you're never going to get that in the box. What changes would I make to the FA Cup? Well, what changes would you make? I think the biggest problem with the FA Cup is nobody's bloody interested in it. And no, you know, look at this half of football. This is a tournament that we've been having to watch for 5 months, and the final's shite. You know, Pep Guardiola's got his reserve goalkeeper in. It's not a tournament that the big teams respect. And also, you even get championship sides putting their reserves out because they're more focused on the playoffs. So I think the best thing they could do is the Carabao Cup. A lot of teams put their strong teams out because they want match fitness. Whereas in the FA Cup, a lot of people rotate the teams because their team is tired, or they want to get promoted, or they want to stay up. So the FA Cup suffers from when it's played. Seashore says it should have been a penalty on João Pedro. He tripped him. Well, we might get another look at half time. I'll tell you what, this game is not what you want to be watching when you didn't get in till late and you had a few beers last night. Fuck, bloody hell. I might play FC26 in a minute. Oh, somebody told me that FC26 don't have the rights to the World Cup, but they are going to release a tournament quite similar to it. Rodri and Bernardo are one of the modern great Premier League partnerships. Not the best, says Grealish. Thank you very much. Well, it's weird. I've done that one as well. Half time in this scintillatingly shit FA Cup final. It's really bad. That's what you don't get on Sky Sports or the BBC. They can't be honest, can they? I was thinking this the other day. Like, do you think we'll ever get the mainstream being honest? I don't see what the problem is, though. I don't see what the problem is with being honest about, you know, we've got 11,000 watching and it's been steadily going up. That's a shit game of football. Absolute rubbish. It doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, people won't still watch if you entertain them in a different way. You know, we're talking about why it's a shit game. Expected goals, 0.4 for Man City and 0.1 for Chelsea. Shit house. No chances on target. No big chances. Shit house. This is absolutely shit. You know, you got Rooney and Sturridge and Richards sat there on the BBC talking about the game, and I bet because it's mainstream, they'll have to floss it up. Absolute shit. Look at that. Chelsea have only had, no shots on target, and City have had 2 shots on target. I mean, that's a shit show for a cup final. Do they know what's going on here? Do they know what's up for grabs here? Should get me presenting it. I'd be there. I'd go, before I speak to you, Wayne and Mika, no shots on target for Chelsea. Only 2 for Man City. The crowd look like they're falling asleep. What the hell are these 2 teams doing, lads? Why are they so bad? This is abysmal. And then you throw it to them and see what they say, which I think is fair enough. She's happily married. Somebody was saying, what happened to the girl that you dodged the bullet with? Yeah, I mean, back then, when I was at college, I really did like her. I mean, probably should have behaved a little bit better when I was out, but not with her. That wasn't the problem. But I did like her, and I was quite surprised when we broke up when she found out. But the problem is, you know, I'm not saying we would have got married and had kids or anything like that. I just did see a few years ago some pictures, and I went, I wouldn't have been happy with that. But she was, I mean, I don't know whether she appeared to be married and happy, which is the main thing, you know, and was smiling in a restaurant eating. So at the end of the day, looked happy. How's that not a penalty, says FYT. Do you think she might look at you and think the same? God, I don't know. I mean, you know, when I look at some of the people I went to school with, I'm talking about lads, and I say it to them regularly, you would not think I was in my mid-40s, whereas some of them you'd think they're in their late 50s. So I've aged like a fine wine. So I think any of my exes, of which there was many, would probably go, oh my God, the one that got away. I'd be Ronaldinho, I would, to Man United. I think any of my exes would look at it and go, oh God, not only is he funny and intelligent, but he's also good looking and talented. So I think that they would be gutted, to be honest. Probably go to bed every night. I'm not going to say that. Probably go to bed every night like going, oh, the one that got away. With Mariah Carey playing in their head. I can't live if living is without. Yeah, but the thing is, like, to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't be interested. I am just taking the piss there. I'm literally not that arrogant. I was joking. I'm literally just doing it for the banter. I want to see this penalty decision for Chelsea, but that's not it. Can you do a poll for the Pedro penalty? Yes. I'm just waiting for it. Is it a penalty on Pedro? They must be coming to it soon, because if I was the BBC producer, I'd be saying, show the penalty on Pedro, because there's literally nothing else to talk about. Salah's statement, Mark, says Chev. What about? We know you're leaving. Do you believe that story about Michael Carrick getting more say in transfers compared to Ruben Amorim? Bollocks. Why would you give Carrick more say in transfers? He's got 0 experience. I don't believe that at all. Oh my God. He's only gone and done it. You know, this is Rio Ferdinand for you, right? Listen to this, right? I've been saying on this channel and on the United Stand for the last few weeks, there tends to be somebody daily saying, should United sign Lewandowski? Because it winds me up, because we absolutely shouldn't. It's almost banter. Rio Ferdinand, 3 hours ago. What a guy Lewandowski is. What a player. Experienced option next season in the Champions League and help with development of Sesko. What a prat. What an absolute prat. What an absolute prat. Yeah, let's bring Lewandowski at 37 to the Premier League. He can do a few TikTok dances while he's at it as well. What a prat. Jason says, my missus has left me. She says, I'm too obsessed with football. I'm hurting. She's so wrong. We've been together for 2.5 seasons. Good one. I actually thought you were telling the truth there. When is this penalty going to get shown? Because I haven't seen it here. I was trying to look for the Salah statement. Salah has another outburst on social media. Where is it? Still waiting to see this penalty. Oh, okay. This is the Salah statement. I have witnessed this club go from doubters to believers and from believers to champions. It took hard work and I always did everything I could to help the club get there. Nothing makes me prouder than that. Us crumbling to yet another defeat this season was very painful and not what we deserve. I want to see Liverpool go back to being the heavy metal attacking team that opponents fear and back to being a team that wins trophies. That is the football I know how to play, and that is the identity that needs to be recovered and kept for good. It cannot be negotiable, and everyone that joins the club should adapt to it. Winning some games here and there is not what Liverpool should be about. All teams win games. Liverpool will always be a club that means a great deal to me and to my family. I want to see it succeed for long after I've moved on. As I've always said, qualifying to next season's Champions League is the bare minimum, and I will do everything I can to make that happen. It's a shame United don't try and play good football, isn't it? I think it's a dig at Slot. Why have they not shown the penalty decision here? It's 50-50 in the chat. Crooked Soul says, I hate City, but it wasn't a penalty. Right, now they're showing the offside. I don't think Salah's statement massively helps. Really, because he's leaving anyway, isn't he? So it does stink a little bit of, you know, how does it help? But I think it's a dig at Slot. I'm still waiting for them to show the penalty incident here. Can you do the poll on the Michael Jackson song and album? What? What poll? Do you like Michael Jackson's song? What song? What album? God, I love the new Bayern kit, says Reggie. Yeah, it is nice. And Code says, do you think Blueco are starting to go in the right direction with it being reported that they're willing to let Alonso have a say in transfers? Yes. I think eventually I think the best ownership is the ownership that acknowledges that they've made mistakes and makes changes. I feel like United are following Chelsea's model of 6 months ago, giving it to an inexperienced coach and controlling transfers. Whereas I feel that Chelsea seem to be moving in a different direction. I think Chelsea could bounce back next year. They do, but look, coulda, woulda, shoulda. They do need to buy players of experience, and this is going to be a challenging transfer market. And I don't know how much money Chelsea have actually got. So, in this current transfer market, you know, if I was buying for Chelsea, I'm going right down the spine. I mean, look, if they could get Harry Kane, I'd get Harry Kane. You know, Harry Kane would be the dream. Erling Haaland would be the dream. I don't know. I always feel like Osimhen would be great, but I don't think they'll go for him either. But if I was Chelsea, I'd go Osimhen up front. I'd go Murillo from Forest as the centre-back. Goalkeeper, the market in the goalkeeping world, I don't know. You need somebody experienced. I don't know whether Magnon is still a possibility from Milan. They certainly liked him before. And then probably another midfielder, because Enzo's probably going to go. So Alvarez would be great for Chelsea, yeah. Yeah. And Ter Stegen wouldn't be a bad shout, Toby. Arsenal's not playing today. People shouldn't worry about penalties and VAR decisions, says the GOAT. And remember when managers used to wear suits for the final? This is last man standing. I remember, mate. Don't take me on a trip down memory lane. I remember FA Cup finals being incredibly exciting. It is an advert for the World Cup. Yeah, it used to start off with morning TV. It was great. McTominay. See what I like about the World Cup? It's the whole vibe of travelling fans, etc., etc. The golden generation. Budge says, I appreciate your support for Arsenal this season. Thank you very much. Oh, apparently I don't support Arsenal. Well, I don't support Arsenal, but apparently, it's all fake. I mean, despite the fact that I predicted you'd win the league before anybody else did and would rather you'd win the league over Man City. Why do you not think Lewandowski can improve Sesko? He's vastly experienced, he's fit, and has a lot of knowledge to pass on. Agree. No. Like, he has never played in a league like the Premier League. It is competitive, it is fast, it is twice a week. He is going to be 38 in August. You're having an absolute fucking laugh if you think Lewandowski could come to Manchester United and contribute. Absolute laugh. No, it's just absolute stupidity. It never happened as well. Blazing Bullet says, hi Mark, for the second half, I'd move Cucurella to winger as he's on a yellow and have a back four. Gusto at right back so Reece can commit to the attack. There we go. Tactics there from Blazing Bullets. Would Lewandowski be a good signing for Chelsea, says Ewan? No. Have you seen the Salah Instagram post? Yes, we just spoke about it, Bannon. I think it's a dig at the manager, isn't it? You know, he's basically saying the football's shit and we're not getting results. Which, might be fair. Would you support teams getting 0 points for draws, says Vish? No. If you're changing rules, you change things that aren't working. So the biggest problem with the Premier League at the moment is the flow of games and how long the ball's out of play or not being used. So a point for a draw is not a problem with the game. Kane's got his hat-trick. That's on this channel if you want to watch that. Now says, hang on, you've said the Premier League is slow now with pauses. Yeah, but traditionally it's not. This season it has been, but I don't think it will be next season. I think this is an isolated season. No penalty replay. Yeah, never got to see it again, mate. Clive. So why have they, in a boring half, why have they not discussed a penalty issue? Because you lot are 50-50 on it. What's your favourite Michael Jackson songs? I don't like Michael Jackson songs. There's nothing. I wouldn't say I hate them. I don't think there's a Michael Jackson song where I go, yeah. If Oasis comes on the radio or Queen or even a bit of Erasure, but Michael Jackson, I don't know. Wolfsburger got a penalty. Cherky's coming on. Mamouche off. Max says, I still can't believe we're getting Alonso. Yeah, but that's how big clubs work, isn't it? A month ago, you've got Liam Rosignol and there's a lot of concern. A month later, Xabi Alonso's your coach and you're suddenly thinking we might be heading in the right direction. That's how big clubs operate. Right. It's about to start the second half. You will see a lot of empty seats because that's all the champagne quaffing hoorah Henrys who aren't really there for the football. They're there for the meal. The corporates. Disgraceful, really. But, to be honest, if I was on a meal ticket, I wouldn't come out for the second half either. I'd be like, let's have another glass of champers and a few more of them vol-au-vents. Mamouche is on 280 grand a week. I don't know why they paid him that. Yeah, the prawn sandwich brigade, John. Absolutely. Does it go to extra time? Unfortunately, yes. It does. We need a goal here. I mean, I'd like Chelsea to win it, but at the end of the day, I'd rather Man City win it and we don't go to extra time. Cross into the box. Oh, how has he missed that? Semenyo. We nearly got a goal. Cross comes into the back post. He rises like a pigeon on a trampoline. Our pigeon's good at jumping. They can fly. He rises high. But there is no direction. It's O'Reilly again. What a cross. That's what a left... Ah, he's got to score. He's up early. He's got a full head on it. And he's got to score. That's a big opportunity there. Very big opportunity, and he's missed it. Semenyo, best chance of the game. Why is it doing that? Well, big chance for Chelsea there. Not Chelsea, Man City. Would you take Palmer and Foden to the World Cup, says Rodders? No. I'm not convinced to take both. And do you think Liverpool could swoop in for Alonso? No. Well, I think some Liverpool fans would like it, Fitz, but... And let's be honest, you know, it's literally that, isn't it? I'd support 0 points for goalless draws. Poll, says Jay Lyde. And 51% say it wasn't a penalty. 49% say it was. And did you hear they may do half-time shows in the World Cup final like the NFL and could last over 20 minutes? Disgusting. Yeah, I think they already are, Luke, to be fair. I think the half-time in the World Cup final will be big. Yeah. What's your dream team from 2000 to 2020 players, says Vishuk? I can't answer that, mate. You know, I'll always be honest. I can't answer that. That's not like, you know, tell us a story about the polar bear. That takes research. I'd need half an hour for that. I'd have to go off with a paper, you know, piece of paper. I've already reacted to Salah's statement. If you're here at half time, you'd already know. I think he's just saying that, you know, he's having a pop at slot. He's saying the football's shit. And Liverpool shouldn't be playing football like this. So, yeah, it's a direct pop at slot, isn't it? Going in on him. Exactly. Switch to. And look, you know, there are certain players that can do that. But he did it after Leeds, didn't he, at Christmas? So, He's not wrong either. I've been saying it. I did a video this morning about Liverpool. The football's shit. The intensity's shit. The chemistry's shit. I don't know why they're sticking with him, but I'm happy. There's the man who's going to win England the World Cup. Thomas Tuchel is coming home. Sam says, how do you feel about Hearts losing? Mistake at the back. Oh, it's a foul. How do I feel about Hearts losing? I probably feel the same as about Hearts losing as going into my cupboard and we've ran out of lime. I mean, I don't like lime. And I don't dislike Hearts, but I mean, actually, that's not a good example. Basically, I'm indifferent to Hearts losing because I've got no interest in the Scottish football. I think it would have been a nice story for someone to win the league other than Celtic and Rangers in 42 years, but I think that tells its own problems. So yeah, I've got no interest in it, mate. Like a lot of people when it comes to Scottish football. Freiburg are winning 4-1. Could they beat Villa on Wednesday? Well, we're doing a watch-along for it. They will be the favourites, Villa, but Freiburg are an interesting side. McCullough says, I think the World Cup is for France to lose. Yeah, but then I think when you look at Elise against PSG in the second leg and you look at Mbappe, they have got good players, but they are capable of imploding. Thanks for all the super chats, by the way. You can do that through... No, you can subscribe through the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you very much. Thanks for keeping me awake, because it's been shit. It's been a shit game. Imagine if that X did a super chat. Gusto with the cross, not very good. Yeah, a lot of teams are... yeah, a lot of teams are... well, a lot of countries are releasing their World Cup squads already, which to me seems a little bit early, but... Oh, what's Trafford doing there? Surely that should have been a goal kick. A corner. So the ball's gone back to Trafford there, and he's on the touchline, and he's gone to play the pass, and he's let the ball go out. Oh, dear me. At that level, it's a freebie corner for a Chelsea. Trying to keep his head up. What countries have released their World Cup squads? Belgium, Japan. Mason says, what do you mean it's too early? It's less than a month away. But I know there's still games to play, isn't there? That's my point. Caicedo, off the line by Rodri. Easy off the line, though. Oh, ref! You are a fucking moron! This is what I mean. Stopping starting the bloody game. You know, we actually get a little bit of interest here. Cleared off the line by Rodri. Don't even show the fucking replay. Just let the game flow. Carl says, I think it's going to be the worst World Cup ever. Cole Palmer's down injured here. I mean, what a dreadful advert for the FA Cup this is. Cucurella running down the wing. And he's going to give a foul. He'll probably give a yellow card as well. Yeah. Uh, 2010 was the last good World Cup. Been trash ever since, says Garrett. I didn't like the 2010 World Cup. I actually quite liked Russia. Thought it was all right. Caicedo, no. Chelsea, Enzo Fernandez, another corner. Wants a handball. They want a handball. He wants a handball. I don't think you're going to get one. Plume says it's a penalty. No, never. Never in a million years. Natural hand movement and hits his shoulder anyway. Play on. Top 3 dark horses for the World Cup, says Paul. I don't really know. I mean, a lot of people say Norway. I mean, Japan could be quite good. I'd like to see Austria do well. I'd love to see a dark horse in the semi-final, but yeah, I don't know. Look, hopefully we'll get some good football. The trouble is, international football, you don't get a lot of time with your players, which tends to lead coaches to do more basic tactics, really. So, yeah. Nicholas Jackson has scored for Bayern. Union Berlin are winning 4-0. Wolfsburg are beating St. Pauli 3-1. So, St. Pauli are going down. Heidenheim are going down. Stuttgart are going to get Champions League football with Leipzig and Dortmund and Bayern. Bayern are 5-1 up. 4 minutes to go. Harry Kane did get his hat-trick. Other goal scorers, Bischoff and Jackson. We have got the live coverage of that, actually, on this channel right now. Do you think any of the African nations could do well? I mean, it would be great if they did. I can't honestly say that I'm up to date on... I wouldn't say I'm up to date on international football. Obviously, it's easy to say Portugal have got a good team. France have got a good team. I think England will win it, but I know that's in the minority view. But I don't know how good Colombia are. I had a little look at Brazil. I don't think Brazil look that good on paper. But obviously, it's not one on paper. I don't think Argentina's squad on paper looks particularly good, but you know that they will be good. Trouble is, countries like France, Spain, Portugal, England, even Germany to a certain extent, they just have such massive squads. And in a tournament, squads are what matter, isn't it? Is Uzbekistan to get out the group, says Chris Brown? Are they actually in the World Cup? I mean, I'm 100% sure. What do you think about Jose to Madrid? It's very exciting, Karan. I mean, Jose Mourinho is always been box office, and it's a bit like you know Jose Mourinho. I think it's a little bit like when Oasis got back together to do that tour. Have they had better days? Yeah. Are they still goats? Yeah. And I just think Mourinho back at Madrid makes you know what Mourinho does. I don't watch La Liga, right? I don't watch La Liga. Nothing wrong with La Liga. You know, Barcelona and Real Madrid are two of the biggest clubs in the world. But I will take more interest in Real Madrid and La Liga now with Mourinho there, 100%, because that's what Mourinho does. Man United's share price was at one of its highest prices when we appointed Mourinho, and that's what Mourinho does. So I don't know whether it's going to work, but it's going to be interesting to see. Manchester says, I think Uzbekistan will be in the World Cup because only about 7 countries didn't qualify. It's funny actually last night because my daughter came down in an Italy top. And I said, what are you wearing that for? She says, I just quite liked it, so I'm supporting them in the World Cup. I said, that's typical you. She said, why? I said, because you know nothing about football and you turn your back on England for a team that's not even in the bloody World Cup, you prat. She said, well, I'm still wearing it because I like it. I said, you can wear it all you bloody like. They're not winning the World Cup because it's not in it. Thanks for your super chat, Karan. Yeah, we had a. What was the last World Cup that you liked? Garrett says 2010. I did like the Russia World Cup. My issue with Qatar was that I didn't like the fact that all the grounds were in the same place, and it was a Winter World Cup. I'm a traditionalist. I do not like the World Cup being at Christmas. It was weird, and I did not like. Well, this is lovely play by chat. What? Offside. So I like a summer World Cup. That was the problem with Qatar. I just didn't like that. So I quite liked the Russia. And I tell you what. I tell you what. With the World Cup, I don't want it to fucking rain. I want it to be hot. It might be a bit too hot, but I like a sunny World Cup. And I was too young for Mexico '86, but apparently that was a good one as well. So look, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward. There's a lot of games. Yeah. I think we had didn't Qatar have a lot of 0-0s in the group stage? I seem to remember there was a record that was going to get broken in the Qatar group stage, and I think it was the amount. It might have been the amount of draws or 0-0s. ...2014 Brazil was goated. Yeah, the trouble is sometimes the World Cup can be ruined by your nation. What a cross! Trafford gets onto it. Looking for a penalty on João Pedro again. Referee says no. I'd like to have a look at this one. Kushanov does sort of... Again, it's probably not enough for a penalty, but he did sort of push him back again. Rodri's coming off for Kushanov. Garrett says, are you glad you're no longer a police officer and have to arrest people now for social media posts and statements that cause anxiety? I mean, mate, it just feels like a different world. We're talking 20 years. Like, I don't even think, like, it's like I've done a lot of things in my life and I just live in the moment. I don't look back on, you know, I used to work in a cheese factory. I don't think about, am I glad I don't have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and stink horrible cheese. You would have won something if Giggs played for England, says Gunnar. Well, I saw a clip today that Rio Ferdinand was saying that we weren't the golden generation when you look at that Brazil team and that, you know, French team. They were the golden generation. I lived it. It was the golden generation. We should have won something with that. Southgate should have won something as well. But, you know, that team had Terry, Ferdinand, Neville, Cole, Beckham, Gerrard, Rooney, Owen, Scholes, Lampard. It should have won something. And also, Brazil don't play in the Euros. Qatar was in the Autumn World Cup, too hot for summer, says Runner Bean. Yeah, you're right. But I don't like a Winter World Cup. I'm sure we'll see another one. Isn't the Saudi one going to be a Winter World Cup as well? World Cup '94 was good. A lot of you will be too young for it, but it was a weird one because I was about 14, and my first introduction to the World Cup was Italia '90. Getting home from primary school at like 10, and not 10 o'clock at night. Fucking hell. I mean, it was different in the '90s, but you couldn't get detention at 10 years of age until 10 o'clock at night. No, you'd get home from school at like 4 o'clock, and there'd be a game on for Italia '90. And I just loved the World Cup. I loved Italia '90, Pavarotti, Gazza, all that. It was great. Scalacci. It was brilliant World Cup. Absolutely loved it. The football probably wasn't that great. I think there was a lot of low-scoring games, but I just loved the World Cup. And then in USA '94 was the next World Cup, and England didn't qualify. And it was like, at 14, that's a bit of a blow. Like, what? It's the World Cup. I loved the last one. Where's England? But Ireland were in it. And you just sort of, it's probably one of the reasons I sort of got into football away from United and England, because that was my first introduction to, well, the team I support's not in it, but I love football. So, and USA '94 was a really good World Cup. And the great thing as well is it had this novelty of games that were kicking off at like 11 o'clock at night or, 2 in the morning, etc. That Brazilian team was good as well. Romario and, was it Bebeto? Leonardo at left back. Can't never remember what the right back was called. I think it might have been Jorginho. Dunga. Taffarel, I think, might have been in goal. Oh my God, this referee's ruining this game. He's absolute shit. Ray Houghton's goal against Italy, yeah, 1-1-0. So yeah, I think I'm just hoping that this World Cup can live up to it. Stoichkov, yeah. Romania, Hadji, they were very good. Nigeria were very good. It was a good World Cup. There was some. I mean, Argentina before Maradona got done for the drugs. I remember them smacking somebody 6-0 with Batistuta, Roberto Baggio's penalty. I mean, you think back to that World Cup and some of the names. I mean, these are goats of the games. You had Baggio, Batistuta, even Maradona played in it. I think Roy Keane played in it. Paul McGrath. Romario. Goal! Goal! Semenyo! What a way to win it! What a way to win it! He's done a little flick. He missed an absolute sitter with his head. And he has scored a goal now. With 20 minutes to go. Did he mean it, Mark? Oh, come on. Of course he bloody meant it. You don't, I mean, there's obviously an element of luck in the sense that you don't really know where it's going to go, but he's definitely flicked it towards the goal. You've got to give him huge credit there. It's a big goal in a big game. Let's have a look at it. It's good build-up play as well. Starts off with Cherky. Haaland gets it wide. Bernardo Silva. Oh, it's a good goal. It is a good goal. Haaland gets the assist, cuts it back. And look at the feet by Semenyo. Oh, it's a lovely goal. That is a wonderful goal. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, it actually looks better on the replay. Can Chelsea get back? Well, at least if Chelsea get back, we're not, we might get a bloody goal from Chelsea. I feel like Chelsea haven't even bothered here today. And the scary thing for Chelsea is they might be looking at no Europe at all. At least if they'd won this, they would be in the Europa League. This would be good for, I think, 7th or 6th. 7th. If City win this, I think 7th place gets Europa League. Do you remember Roger Miller in the 1990 and 94 World Cups as Luke? I remember him in Italia 90. I don't remember him 94. World Cup 86 and 90 were my favourite. My first sticker book was Mexico 86. I got that sticker book, Becky. I remember going to Enzo Fernandez. Let me have a look at this. Where did this come from? Colwill. He's stretching, to be fair. It's a difficult chance. Colwill flicks on the throw in, and then Enzo Fernandez pokes a toe at it, but can't turn it in. Let's go City, says Sam. Nick P says, I'm 2 years older than you, Mark, so Mexico 86 is a more prominent memory. The stadium's the heat, and that goal by Maradona. And Penga says, do you think Portugal are genuine contenders at the World Cup? Often mentioned in group of powerhouses, but rarely hear anyone pick them as favourite. It's because their manager is the Spanish Southgate. So that's why I think Portugal's big problem is their manager and probably their over-reliance on Ronaldo. I mean, should Ronaldo still be starting all their games as well? So Ronaldo's an absolute legend of the game, but I think sometimes for Portugal, because they won't take him off, it can weaken them at times. And their manager is crap. Qatar, thank you very much. Have you had your Moscow Mule yet, says Jade? No. One day I'll remember. But yeah, Becky, I remember that sticker book for Mexico 86. Even though I don't really remember the World Cup, I remember us going to Cornwall on holiday. And I remember driving down to Cornwall and I had this Mexico sticker book. Just vaguely remember it. Jade says it's been 6 months. I know, and it's going to taste all the nicer when I actually remember. Daniel says he's never going to have this Moscow Mule. Yeah, because the only time I ever think about it is when I'm streaming. I don't. It's weird. Every time I'm not streaming, I don't think, oh, Moscow Mule. It's only when we're sat here I go, oh, that's a good idea. 82 World Cup is up there for me due to Northern Ireland reaching the second group stage in 86 too, says Luke. I do not really remember 86 and I certainly don't remember 82. Is Semenyo a better signing than Mbeumo and Cunha? Says Roy. Contextually he probably is. Because he's gone straight into that City team and contributed, hasn't he? Do you think they should drop Ronaldo? I don't know enough about Portugal's striking options to know whether they should drop him. I mean, obviously you've got Ramos, but he doesn't start for PSG. Nico Riley's in, cuts it back. No one's there. Maybe he should have gone for the shot himself. I mean, look, Ronaldo's 41. You've got a guy playing up front for Portugal who's 41. Whether it's Cristiano Ronaldo or not, he's still 41. That could be a penalty. What? How many penalties is he going to ignore? I mean that one to me looked like a penalty. I'd have to see the replay. You're just saying that because he went down, says easy. Well, until I see the replay, of course I am. I mean, at least the game's opened up a little bit here. I'd have to see the replay. Here's Cole Palmer into the box, goes wide to Gusto. Not a penalty, says T. We haven't seen the replay here. Most City fans in the US are bandwagon plastic, says Captain. Well, VAR is obviously not going to give the penalty because we've had too long now. JB says, come off it, Mark. You're so soft. I mean, if I see the replay and it's not a penalty, I'll say it's not a penalty. On the first, I've only seen it once. I think there was a collision there, but we haven't seen a replay. So here it is. Nah, it's not. I mean, there is a connection. I think it's one of those where if it my feeling is it's probably not a penalty, but then the more you look at it, the more you start to think, well, maybe it is. I certainly think if he'd given it, there wouldn't have been overruled. Chelsea are queuing up here. Good tackle. Nud says, to be fair, he is playing the body like he did on other ones as well, and he's on a yellow. He'd have to have been sent off. Yeah, I think that last one's probably... But then again, if you're a Chelsea fan, you're going to say, well, how many penalty decisions have been 50-50? Because I wouldn't say it was a stone wall penalty, but I've definitely seen them given. But in fairness to Chelsea, there probably has been 4 or 5 where we've seen them given penalties. And I suppose you start totting them up and going, you know what? My first World Cup was 2014, but I was too young, so 2018 was my first one, says Chris. Thank you very much. They called Al Awaren's goal for Saudi a wonder goal from '94, but everyone just backed off him and fell over. I do remember that goal, Kenneth. There was a few good goals, though. I remember, like, Kanu for Nigeria scoring a really good goal as well. And didn't he crawl around like a dog and pretend to do a piss or something like that? It was a good World Cup. Poor old Prince William doesn't look like he's enjoying it. He's thinking, God, I hope Kate's made lasagna when I get home. I need 2 slices tonight to save me from this shit. Lasagna and a good few episodes of Legends on Netflix. That'll do me. That's a great series on Netflix, by the way, Legends. If you've not seen The Gold, which is, I think, on iPlayer, both based on true stories. I think it's the same writer. Really good. Legends. I think it's called Legends or The Legends on Netflix. It's a new series. It's got Steve Coogan in it, who's Alan Partridge, but he can do serious stuff. He did a very good drama about Jimmy Savile a couple of years ago. Philomena, good film. But yeah, I definitely recommend Legends on Netflix. I enjoyed that. Rahul says, if given a chance, how would you improve Indian football? Government and politics has ruined us. We have never been this bad. No league, no ideas. Yeah, but isn't cricket like your big thing in India? And you do it really, really well. So maybe there isn't much of an appetite to be good at football. Look at China. China's the most populated country in the world. They're not very good at football either. There's no. You can't believe it. Mark, if given a chance, how would you have done that one from Rahul? India's more populated than China. Sorry, I wasn't up to date on geographical populations. But I'm sure Barcelona had a academy centre in India that they shut down as well. So, Delap's on for Pedro. No, I think Pedro's still on. I think they've took a defender off. This is Chelsea's problem. When you start bringing on people like Delap and Garnacho, this is the problem Chelsea have got. Was presenting at work and notification. Sorry. Jade says, I was presenting at work and notifications were on. I got an NSFW text from this girl. Everyone saw. Boss scheduled a meeting for Monday morning. Crap. What was in the text? I don't know what an NSFW text is. Not safe for work text. I think that's what that is. Right, O'Reilly's in here. Cross. Good bit of defending. I think it was Caicedo. Still got about 8 minutes to go. Yeah, not safe for work. Cherky. Dirty text. Wub says it's a big shame Australia top athletes play AFL and rugby. I think City will get this done now. It's not been a great final. I love that ball. I am on the United stand at 8 o'clock tonight, yes. Pete says, I can't help but think if these penalty decisions were the other way around, City would have gotten at least one of them. Yeah, I think in summary, these Chelsea penalties, I think it's an accumulation thing, isn't it? Garnacho's on now. Yeah, I think it's I remember Garnacho coming on against City when we were losing 1-0 a few years ago. Played really well. Look at where he is now. But, yeah, I think with these Chelsea penalties, I've not seen one where I'd say it was stone wall. I think it's just accumulation where you start going, a few of these have been 50-50, 50-50, 50-50. And you start thinking maybe could have got one. I'll tell you what, though, there'll be some games in that World Cup where we'll see a lot of goals. I mean, some people, with all due respect, are playing some very big hitters in the group stage. Just looking at, you know, Scotland against Haiti. I mean, I don't know. I mean, can Scotland score a load of goals? They probably can. Germany against Curacao, probably be a lot of goals in that one. Spain, Cape Verde. Norway against Iraq. Austria against Jordan. Portugal against Congo. There will be some games where I think there are a lot of goals. And you know what? You know what's going to happen this year as well? The Golden Boot is about to lose its... well, every time you make the tournament bigger, it demeans the previous Golden Boot winners who didn't play as many games. Shearer just said refs had a good game, says Throb. Yeah, because he's clueless, that's why. Who do you hate more, Garnacho or Burnley? I don't hate anybody. I don't care about Garnacho anymore. Last summer I was pissed off, but he's gone to Chelsea. They've had enough of him. It's their problem. I don't think anything of Garnacho now. Bayern just lifted the trophy. You can actually watch them lifting the trophy. It's on our channel on the homepage right now. I'm part of the setup, says Rahul, and I've been asked by people in charge to present a way forward. That is why I was asking. Last chance for me in football. Look, what I do know about the Indian football scene is that there's a lot of Man United fans in India. And I see that in this chat group, but I also see it on the United stand. There's a lot of interest in football. And I think if you can produce a credible league system, then, you know, that's probably your first step. But the quality's got to be good. I mean, I'd look at something like the IPL as a starting point for how a league might work. Have you seen Salah's post, says Ross? Yes, we spoke about it, yeah. So we've only got 2 minutes of stoppage time here. Dorgu puts a cross in. That's gone for a goal kick. Yeah, I mean, like, in general, you can't knock Man City. They've probably, you know, got the job done in a sense. But Chelsea, if this is their, you know, it reminds me a bit of Man United when we played Man City with Ten Hag and we won. We played really well. We had a plan, we won, and we needed that to get into Europe. Chelsea in a similar situation. I know they've got an interim, and the interim's probably not that good, but I'd have expected a little bit more from Chelsea. Like, being in the Europa League, I know it's not the Champions League, but it helps them hugely. And it's another route into, you know, I'd expect a little bit more from Chelsea because it's another route into the Champions League next season. And there's a very high chance you'd win it. Now, you're probably not going to even make the Europa League, are you? So, it's a tough one. You should hire a Gareth Southgate for Indian football and do us all a favour, says Gummy. No European football for Chelsea, says Silly. Do you think the title race is over for Man City? The only thing Man City can do is beat Bournemouth on Tuesday, which we'll be live for, and then hope on the final day that Crystal Palace do something at home to Arsenal. Celtic won the title. I'm very happy, says Celtic. Well done. Congratulations. And Karan says, do you think football has fallen now that a team like Arsenal are likely champions and in a Champions League final? What do you make of the Premier League CEO comments on new champions? I haven't seen. Karen, it would be useful if you told me what the comments were because I don't know what they are. But I don't think football has fallen. I think it's been a bad Premier League quality-wise. But weirdly, we've had a good title race, a good relegation battle, and a good race for the top six. Just looking at the subs that I found interesting today. No sentimentality from Pep. He hasn't brought John Stones on in what will be his last game. He hasn't brought Phil Foden on. Kovacic and Cherki, his only substitutions. Burnley aren't beating Arsenal. Absolutely not. Feels a bit weird, a 3 o'clock game on a Saturday. No other football now. It's 5 o'clock and there's no football. Are you doing a match reaction? Nah. Burnley might draw. Well, look, I think any Arsenal fan would say that if they draw to Burnley, they don't deserve to win the league. Oh God, that was hard. That was a lot harder work than I thought it was going to be today. FA Cup's got massive problems. Don't forget this next season when people are trying to tell me the FA Cup's still magic, and and we're missing out on Premier League weekends to give the FA Cup the whole weekend. Fucking hell. What about that weekend after the international break where we only had an FA Cup quarter-final weekend? Fuck that. This tournament ain't good enough to be giving it exclusive weekends anymore. Magic of the Cup. Wake me up. It's terrible, mate. It's been a terrible FA Cup. I can't think of many highlights. Maybe, what's it? Who was it? Was it Macclesfield knocking out Crystal Palace? Probably the only highlight, really. But, yeah, look, fair play to Man City for winning it, but... yeah. Grimsby beating United was in the Carabao Cup, mate. Unlucky. I think Brighton knocked us out, didn't they? We were shite. Chelsea got 1 minute to take us into extra time. Well, they're not going to do that with Gusto doing that. And there's a bit of a break on here. Haaland. Wide to Doku. Cherky. Still Cherky. Oh, he should have passed it to Haaland. And now he does. 40 seconds. Ball's at the wrong end. Player goes down for Man City. Yeah, at least it's nearly over. Shocking final of football, really. Thank you everybody who's tuned in, by the way. Please do subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. We are back tomorrow with a Premier League game, which will be a lot better than this. Newcastle at home to West Ham. West Ham need to win to have a chance of staying up. Whereas Spurs do not play till Tuesday against Chelsea. Do you think James Trafford will be a good replacement for Emi Martinez, since everyone is saying that is who Villa wants, says Beltier? I think he's a good goalkeeper, yeah. And that's the final whistle. Well, there's the man with the moment of quality, Semenyo. Manchester City win the FA Cup to add to the Carabao Cup. Don't think they're going to win the Premier League. But it's over. Right, I'm going to get myself a coffee to wake up. I'm on the United Stand at 8 o'clock. Well done to everybody for making yourself get through that. We had some good conversations. Shame about the football. I'll speak to you on the next one. Take care.